Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fourth episode of USA Karate's Meet Our Olympic Hopefuls series, where each week we are getting to know one of our 8 Olympic hopefuls. This week, we're sitting down with Trinity Allen, who will be representing Team USA at the Paris Olympic Qualifier in the minus 55 kilogram Kumite division for her chance to compete at the Tokyo Olympic Games this coming summer. Even at the age of 19, the youngest on our Paris team, Trinity has had quite a karate career thus far. Following her 6-year run on our junior national team, competing in a handful of world and continental championships, Trinity fought hard at our senior team trials back in January 2020 for taking the first seat on our senior national team. She also notably brought home a silver medal for Team USA at the K1 Youth League in Mexico in 2018. Trinity resides in Las Vegas, Nevada, where she trains with her father and coach, Paris Allen. When Trinity isn't making her mark on the karate world, she's a full-time student at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Welcome, Trinity. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Awesome. So jumping right in, firstly, we wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and about your introduction to karate. So a great place to start would be, when did you start karate and why?
Well, as you kind of mentioned, my dad is my sensei, so I started at the age of 4, and then I was kind of bad in class and I messed around too much, so he kicked me out. And then he brought me back when I was 5, and that's no, 3. I started when I was 3, and then at the age of 4, that's when I started. So I was a bad student, and then I started listening in class, and then yeah, I've been doing it ever since.
And have you always wanted to be a kumite athlete, or was there ever a time where you wanted to focus on kata in competition?
So I grew up doing both kata and kumite, and I think because I was a little more quiet, and I don't think I have that natural fight in me. Like some kids are just like my sister, for example, she just has that fight, and I don't think I had that growing up. And I really just liked kata because it's very individual. And I like that a lot more. So I thought I was gonna be a kata athlete when I was really young. But then I think as I got older, I started leaning more toward kumite, and I think that was a good choice.
And talking more about your dad also being your coach, how has that dynamic been?
I think my dad and it's allowed us to have a good connection, so we're always around each other. And, he has his experience on the US team as well. And so I think, with his experience, he's kind of taught me a lot of lessons that he's had. And, it's, I think maybe for my mom it's bad because karate it doesn't stay in the dojo. It comes home, and so we talk about it all the time. But I think it's been good for us.
So, as an elite competitor who's also a full time student, can you talk a little bit about the struggles that have been presented with balancing karate with school?
Yeah, so I think I've always been really focused in on school. And so I don't think I've been the type of person to, just focus on karate or just focus on school. So I've, you know, had a difficult time trying to balance everything. So I think, especially in high school, I was putting karate in school before like my sleep. And it was really difficult at sometimes. But I also think it's been able to help me, you know, learn how to manage my time, obviously, and work through everything, just that grind. And I think it's a challenge that I've been able to actually overcome now.
So, speaking a little bit more about school and your life outside of karate, what do you study at school? Are you part of any clubs? And what does your life look like outside of the world of karate?
So I'm studying psychology right now, and I want to go to grad school after, hopefully, to become a school psychologist. And then as far as clubs, I think I'm like treasurer or something of our karate club. I don't even know what position I am in it because we haven't really done much with it, but we're trying to start a karate club at UNLV and just trying to get some college students training with us.
Mhm.
Hasn't We haven't gotten too much yet because of COVID, but we'll see how that goes. And then just outside of karate, it's pretty boring school. That's really it. I don't have a lot of time for anything crazy. So
Do you have a lot of people in your karate club at school?
um
Still
well,
growing.
Yeah, it's definitely still growing. We started because naturally we just already have college students at our dojo that go to UNLV. So technically, they are part of the club. Um, so we have like four, and then we've had some people come in. So hopefully they like stick and
Mhm.
are actually part of our.
But
Yeah, I'm not the president. I'm not the recruiter type. So I just whatever they tell me what to do, like I try to help out.
how did that club kind of get started? Was it you guys at the dojo were like, "Hey, we all go to the same school. Why not start a karate club at school?"
Well, karate is not a collegiate sport. And so, because of that, my dad really wanted to try to bring that aspect, into both our dojo and to college. And so, the best way to start is as just a club. And so, um, one of the girls at our dojo, her name's Megan. She's really involved at our school at UNLV, and so she kind of is introducing us into that realm of becoming a club and whatnot. So hopefully it kind of starts something in the college atmosphere.
Moving right along, what does a day in your life typically look like when balancing school and karate? What is that?
Usually I get my school stuff done in the morning. Um, Hopefully I can train in the morning too. So if I can fit in like a gym workout, I'll do that as soon as I wake up. And then when I'm finished with that, I'll do my homework and stuff throughout the day. I've also been teaching a lot more. So then when I'm done studying, I'll go to the dojo and I'll be there maybe around like 4 o'clock, and I'll teach up until my class. And then when it's my class, I train and then go home. That's like a typical day.
How do you like teaching?
I really like teaching little kids, so like the 5 and 6 year olds, and they're a lot of fun. But I don't think the I don't know, teenager tween, um, that that age, especially boys. I don't think I connect with them as well because I don't know. I don't have a that personality, I guess, with them. Maybe I'm too like hyper with them, but um, but I really do like teaching. I think it's hard to be sad or like upset around kids. So having that, because they read it. So
Mhm.
I think that really puts my mood at a better level. And so it kind of like sets me up to train, and they motivate me too. So I like teaching a lot.
We wanted to ask you more about your training and just your history with competitions. And we also want to put that in the context of COVID-19 and the effect that it's had on you. Let's start there. So how was your training affected by COVID-19, and how have you had to adjust, if at all, to be more successful this past year?
Yeah, so I think once COVID started, we had to transfer over to Zoom. And that was definitely difficult because I don't like training online karate. It's not my thing. But I still had the dojo. I still had access to it since, that's our dojo. And so I was able to train on my own in there. Sometimes I dragged my sister. She didn't like it, but I would drag her along to have some company. And then when things started opening up, it was a lot easier to, kind of get back into the groove of training and everything. And as far as competition goes, I haven't had anything, and there's not too many people in the dojo that I'm able to move around with. But I have some people in there that I can work with, and I have my boyfriend too. We train together, and I think com- competition wise, he's been kind of like my competitor, I guess, because I think I like hate losing to him. And so I think that's been able to kind of keep the competition alive around me and kind of keep me awake. So.
And so, after being away from competition for nearly a year now, how have you been preparing for the upcoming event season that is going to be coming very soon? Anything different, or how have you kind of approached that?
Well, I think just the amount of my training and just the intensity has been, a lot more. And I don't have to worry about like driving to school anymore and all that. So I think my time has opened up a lot too. So it's kind of, it's been a good thing for training because it's been able to make me focus in on it, dial in on training rather than, it's just a part of my life. It's the main focus now.
Hmm. And in training, what would you say is your favorite training exercise that makes you the most prepared or that you see the most value in doing?
I really like partner work. I think I've really grown to appreciate it a lot more too because I did have a period of time because of COVID where I couldn't work with other people. So just anything where I'm able to work with someone else and get that timing, that distance, um, that's my favorite stuff to do, and I think it's the most effective.
And transitioning back to the element of competition that we were talking about, what have you missed most about being away from competitions? What are your favorite parts that you're really excited to get back to?
I think just the environment, kind of like that energy around you. You know, traveling to the competition, having all these athletes around you. I miss that environment. It's just different now, not having that. Um, being around elite athletes, it's definitely a different feeling, and working with people, I guess hitting people, just that contact. It's a lot different now, but I'm excited to get back into it.
How do you normally get ready for competitions?
I think for me, the most important thing is for me to relax because I get stressed really easily, and so just kind of almost acting like it's just a normal day, and getting a laugh in, just talking to people, staying keeping my mind, stress free. And that's really the most important thing, I think, when it comes to competition. And then, when I get into the ring, I'm able to turn that on.
And do you have any go-to meals that you like to have before you compete?
No, I don't like to eat a lot before I compete. Um, I don't know. I just water, coffee. I need coffee. That's not really a meal, but if I get my coffee in, I'm good.
How about after competition? Is that when you're like, all right, I've already done it, now I can relax and just kind of enjoy life again? I don't have to be so stressed anymore.
Definitely. After competition, it's like I'll eat anything. So it's I'm kind of scary after competition. Uh,
When you're at events, do you have any particular person who's your biggest cheerleader there?
um, I think, the loudest would be my grandma. She's like she's very, I don't know, she's very she has a lot of character, and so when she cheers, it's like I can always hear her, and she's definitely someone who's a good cheerleader of mine, and she loves it too. And then but I think my mom, she's more quiet, but she's a big supporter.
Looking at all of the vast tournaments you've competed in so far, do you have a favorite? And if you do, why is that one your favorite?
um I think every tournament has brought its positive aspects that I always remember. Um, I think I think maybe the best team trials in last year. I think that was kind of the biggest challenge of mine. I think I created um like this really big thing in my head, and then overcoming that, I think it was a good stepping stone for me. And then really transitioning to label myself, I guess, from a junior to a senior athlete. And so I think for me that was a big uh, opportunity for me to grow.
And how did that feel when you had that transition where it became real that now I'm a senior athlete? And what did that mean to you? Was it kind of scary and daunting, or was it a really exciting new step that you're taking in your career?
I still don't think it's really settled in yet because um, I'm still well, now I'm older, but I'm still in that age category where it's like I'm still junior, and senior, because I'm still qualified to compete with junior athletes. And so I think it's still settling in, but it's exciting for me because it's like I grew up watching Tom Scott, Elisa Au. They were my idols, and so being on the U.S. team with them is really big for me. And so I think little me would be really like, I don't know, starstruck.
Next up, we want to move more into the Paris Olympic Qualifier, which is going to be happening later this year, and the Tokyo Olympic Games. When did it strike you that being in the Olympics was a possibility, and what has that meant to you personally now that you've made the Paris team and you're going to be attending the Paris Olympic Qualifier?
Yeah, so when the Olympics were announced, it was kind of like it was just finally, I think I heard my dad talking about it a lot, I think everyone, it was just year after year, it was just kind of like everyone was hoping that it was going to be in the Olympics. And then when they finally announced it, it was just like, oh, thank God. But at the same time, I was at an age where I was like, I could qualify if I worked hard enough. But in my head, it was just, oh, someone else is gonna go represent the US. Like it wasn't even a possibility for me in my head. And so being able to be the US representative at the qualification tournament is, kind of shocking for me. But at the same time, I'm really excited because it was just never something I would have imagined. And yeah.
Yeah, and then what does karate being included in the Olympics mean to you?
Well, I'm just, happy that karate has been able to, accelerate the way it did. I think with, Premier Leagues and all the tournaments that have been before the Olympics, karate's like the evolution of the sport it's been so different than I think we've ever seen before. And so I think that's really cool, just kind of like from a fan perspective, just seeing karate develop like that. I think it's amazing for the sport. And then personally for me, like I said, Olympics were never really like my main dream. I didn't grow up like, wanting to be in the Olympics because I didn't think it was going to be, something that was going to happen, to be honest. But you know, for me, I don't want to look back and regret anything, and I just want to go out and put my all in it and say, I was able to have these opportunities, and yeah, that's what I want.
So, speaking of opportunities, I want to talk about back in January 2020 at our senior team trials when you secured your spot on the Paris team. Talk us through those feelings and the excitement that kind of went through you once competition was over and you did it. You made the team. What did that feel like?
I think I was just kind of in shock. I don't think I really went in there. Of course, I worked my hardest, and I fought my best, but I didn't go in there expecting like to walk out winning the tournament. And I don't think I really ever walk out expecting anything. I don't think that's good to expect first place or anything. But I put my all into it, and at the end, I was happy, shocked, and hungry. We were talking about that earlier, so I was really hungry. But
What
um,
did you eat after the tournament?
we went to get Italian food, and I had pasta.
Incredible. As of right now, so karate will no longer be an Olympic sport following this year's games. What impact has this had on you, your training, and your Olympic dreams, if any at all?
I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think the Olympics really pushed karate to the next level. So I think, seeing that kind of come to an end is really disappointing. And then also, I know that when I've traveled to other countries, the Olympics have provided a lot of funding opportunities for karate. And so I've seen a lot of athletes, training really hard. And then for them to not have that opportunity anymore, funding wise, and those the same, training and that environment for them, that really hurts me. And so I think my personal dreams for the Olympics, that was, you know, not my main goal. I want to be the best karate athlete that I can be. But I think it's really unfortunate for the sport itself because I think the Olympics have done so many amazing things for it so far. So I wish they gave us a time to try it first before saying no in the future.
Hmm. When karate does finally take its debut in the Olympics this year, what are you hoping that those who tune into it, who maybe aren't as familiar with karate as a sport, take away from it?
I think I just want them to have an open mind. That karate's not, this full contact sport and all that, and people aren't going to be, knocked out and like trash talking each other. But I hope that they can see the respect, the explosiveness, the speed, the strategy in the sport. And I think it's, really beautiful to watch, if you really take time to understand it a bit. And so I hope that people can see that and not just be like, oh, this is, I'll see in like YouTube comments, oh, they're not hitting each other, and they're really like judgmental about it. So as long as I think people keep an open mind, I hope they can, find a little enjoyment in watching it.
Looking ahead to this year and beyond, what would you say you're most hoping to accomplish? What goals have you set for your karate career right now, and how are you going to be measuring success?
So I want to, compete at Pan American Championships, World Championships, hopefully Olympics. We'll see about that. But I think the main thing for me is just to, I guess, one day when I retire from karate or karate competition, to look back and say, I put my all into it. And I think, if I'm able to walk away without saying like, I could have done this, I could have done that, and being happy with what I did succeed in, um, that's how I'd measure success. I don't think it's based off the results. Of course, results are nice, but if I'm able to leave with no regrets, that's good for me.
Do you have plans to continue teaching as well?
Um, I am not sure. We'll see about that. I do really enjoy teaching, and hopefully one day I can continue that. But we'll see.
And then reflecting on your career so far, can you name something that you've learned through karate and all of your years of training that you take with you off of the mat?
I think the main thing is my work ethic. You know, you can't slack off in karate, and I've taken that with my school, with um, you know, with everything I do. I think I'm just a hard worker, and I think bringing that to every aspect is good. And then just, I think karate's also provided like a community for me, friends, friends around the world that I can, always talk to. So, obviously those relationships from karate have transferred to my life outside of karate as well.
Mhm. Would you say that you've learned some very valuable skills through your friends in karate as well?
Yeah, of course. I think seeing different cultures and, meeting people from other places, you learn a lot more. And, um, the more people you meet, I think the more you can learn from them and what they do.
What would your advice be to karate athletes who are maybe just getting started with karate?
I'd say just, work hard, stay focused, and just to really, I think, appreciate karate for what it is, and to learn from it. And I think we've been getting a lot of students coming in like watching Cobra Kai, and they want to do karate now after seeing Cobra Kai, and I I want them to kind of get that. I think Cobra Kai has done a good job in creating this idea like of what karate can teach you, and I really hope that it can give them what they're expecting, because I really think um, I think they can get a lot out of karate. So if they stick with it, I think it'll give them a lot of opportunities that I've gained from it as well.
All right, so lastly, what would you consider to be your biggest accomplishment in karate so far?
I think I want to say not something results based, because I don't really remember those things as much. I think for me, the biggest accomplishment from karate was, the development it's been able to provide for me. I think in my personality, I think it's brought out a lot of like who I am, and it's taught me leadership skills, how to like talk to people better. And then it's also given me a lot of opportunities to, like I said, meet people. So I think the accomplishments that come from kind of in the karate community, but not necessarily the fighting. I think that's something I'm always gonna remember, and not necessarily the wins or the losses.
Very cool. So before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with everyone out there? Any shout outs that you may have, or just any closing remarks?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to my family, and my boyfriend, my friends for supporting me. Um, my dojo, the dojo's so important to me, and then all the kids that I'm helping out and teaching, they teach me, I think, more than I could teach them. And then also thank you to MultiPure, my sponsor. They've done a lot for me in my karate career as well. So.
Well, thank you so much, Trinity, for joining us today. Good luck this year in competition, and we are so excited to see everything that you get up to.
Thank you so much.